Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam. I'm joined by Liz, Jer, Matt for a huge episode. There's been a lot of breaking news. It's been definitely a couple of days of drama, a lot of injuries that we will get to. And guys, don't forget this show is brought to you by manscaped.com. Do check out the Performance Package 4.0. It is unbelievable. 8 million balls worldwide. And yes, we have that promo code. As always, it's good to see everyone using it. It is WrestleSlam. So do use that promo code. And also,
no injuries with Manscaped, please.
No injuries, exactly. It's safe as can be.
No torn pecs.
Yes, and guys, look, we're on Spotify. It's great to see the Spotify numbers going up. So do check us out on Spotify. We have Phil on Spotify duties now as well, and Phil is the guy that's going to bring it to iTunes. He said to me yesterday he can do it, so Phil will have that done. So look, we are on Spotify and all our episodes. Then he's put up a couple of old episodes as well. There'll be a lot more going up in due course, so do check us out on Spotify. You can hear Liz, myself, Jer, and of course Matt and Phil. Phil's away at the moment, guys. He's doing some camera work all week, so we will miss him, but he will be back next week. I know he's not too happy being away from the show because he loves being here. It's part of his, weekly routine. So Phil, have a great week, my man, and we will see you back next week. So guys, first of all, there's been some breaking news throughout the days and I suppose the last week and so, but there's been a lot of injuries. Sure, CM Punk, Cody, Rhodes, they're massive blows right now. Two of them are kind of hot on the tail, All Elite Wrestling, WWE, and I will say I'm surprised that Cody actually won the match last night. I'm really surprised that he beat Seth 3 times. That's a bit of a shock, given it's Cody and he's back. I did think Seth would win last night. But look, first of all, how much is it going to affect All Elite Wrestling that Punk is out? And look, he just became champion, similar to the Finn Balor situation.
Yeah, it's kind of sick for. I'm kind of sickened for Hangman Adam Page at the same time.
Yeah,
he had only lost the title a couple of days later, and CM Punk's out, and then they're having a tournament, and he's not even been mentioned by anybody. Like they're all talking about. I mean, maybe Moxley or MJF, his storyline is going to lead into this, maybe, or and there's two boys from New Japan are getting a chance at the title, and Hangman, he may be in the Battle Royal, but there's no talk of him actually being considered as a champion, winning it back. So it sucks for CM Punk, like the older you get, the more harder it is to recover from injury. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and you won't be out for too long. But this is why you need to have people up there on top of the roster, like to be able to step in whenever somebody gets injured, similar to with what WWE were doing with Cody, like with Roman taking time off. They were putting everything on Cody's back. That's the reason they had booked him to win. Obviously he's going to be gone for a few months now, so they'll probably bring him back hotter than ever, undefeated since he returned as well. So it's a tough one for both companies, but again, like they just need to book more people stronger just to have somebody else to fall on.
And George, just for the fans, why do you think Hangman Page is not in the picture? Look, he was champion right prior to Punk. What do you reckon it is? You reckon it's just a fact? They thought there might be a bigger pop. He wasn't a good champion. In my opinion, he was a good champion. But look, is there people out there saying, right, look, Page got the championship. Obviously, Punk beats him, and we expected bigger from Hangman Page when he was champion. What do you reckon it is?
He was a good champion. He was a great champion. He had some great matches, with Omega and Bryan Danielson and Punk. But the problem is he was overshadowed every pay-per-view by MJF and CM Punk and, Wardlow recently. Like, all his big matches were always overshadowed. And, we had most of his matches were actually on TV. They weren't on pay-per-views. Like, he had his matches with Bryan Danielson were on, Dynamite and Rampage. I think one of them was Rampage. I'm not sure. They weren't one of their major pay-per-views. So he only had Full Gear really to follow on as his major pay-per-view, and then he lost to CM Punk in that pay-per-view. So it's not his fault. It's just the way things fell, and just booking decisions for MJF. Being that person that is going to steal the show, like, and everybody's talking about him. They have been talking about him. And they'll continue to talk about him whether he's there or not. So it's a shame for Hangman because he never really got that opportunity to cut a big major promo and be the guy. Like, he was never the guy. There's too many people on the roster for him to beat that guy.
Definitely. Lizzie, what's your take on the whole Punk thing? Look, it's obviously a shock. I kind of woke up and I thought it was a bit of a work, but then I realized, oh shit, this is actually serious. Like, what you seen happening? Like, how do you see the championship pan out? Who can you see become champion? And what you reckon's next for Punk? Obviously, rehabilitation he's got to do. Obviously there's an operation or whatever. But it's obviously a long road ahead for him. And what's going to happen next?
To be honest, same as what the old ball and chain said there. I mean, there's you get older, things take longer to heal, and things are easier to break and stuff, But with regard to his injury itself, I find it interesting that nothing has been specified, which means he could be back next week. It could be an ingrown toenail. Do you know that kind of a way? So the fact that there's a lot of mystique surrounding it compared to, say, Daniel Bryan's injury, Bryan Danielson's injury, we know he's going to be out for a week or two because he has pain in his hole or something. It's just something quite straightforward. But with CM Punk, it's very there's a little bit of mystery surrounding it. It's not very clear as to what exactly is wrong. So he might not actually be gone that long. I know they're going to have a tournament for an interim. Interim, yeah, thanks. Champion. But this is where AEW are at a distinct advantage to WWE. Jerry touched on it as well. They have quite a number of players built up. Can you imagine Wardlow winning that? Can you imagine and taking on Jon Moxley? Can you imagine Eddie Kingston winning it and taking on Jon Moxley? Here you can fantasy book the living shit out of this. There are so many people built up and so many people we're familiar with. With Cody's injury, WWE, they're booked into a corner. And they do this all fucking time. They always do it. And then what'll happen is, we all know what the story is. Now to kind of delve a little bit off Vic and CM Punk's, but with Cody's, they'll do what they always do. Somebody will get this astronomical push out of nowhere. Let's get an underdog. And they'll get super over. Everybody will want to cheer them on. You'll have your, we've all seen the Cesaro section. We've all seen, Braun. And then push them. They come over and then that person returns and they're back mid-carding. And it's just forgotten about, like it's never happened. They always do it. And my heart is absolutely broken for whoever they're going to pick. They always do it. But with regard to CM Punk's injury, so we don't know how it's going to be, but I am so excited to see who's going to take that title. Not too excited to see who they're going to put as diluted Cody until he's back.
Matt, who do you reckon is going to be next champion of All Elite Wrestling? Who's going to be the guy that steps in and becomes champion? It's interesting. There's so many names. You know what I mean? We're seeing it's All Elite Wrestling right now is hot. It is really in a good place. So, like, what do you reckon is going to happen? Who's going to, be crowned the next champ?
No, I'm upset as well that Punk has gone with an injury. It would be interesting to see what he was going to do with the title, the AEW title. But there's so much to pick for. But I just have a gut feeling, lads, that I'm not going to call out Tony. I'm not going to call anyone. They're going to have to go with a former WWE fella. I just have a feeling that they're going to go with that because they want to get more people tuned in to probably know who CM Punk is, and he's the champion. And I feel like Adam Page, he didn't really get much of an opportunity. I agree with Jerry. He didn't get much of an opportunity to be with the title. Didn't really get much, spotlight with all the past champions. So I feel like they're going to toss the title to, I'm not saying because I'm a Jon Moxley fanboy, but maybe Jon Moxley. Maybe that they're going to give him the title for the second time and maybe see what he's going to do with that title. Or if they give it to MJF, they're going to make some storyline with him at the moment. So, the possibilities are endless, but I am holding on hope that they might even give it to Wardlow. I'm holding on to that hope. I know I just said WWE guys, but I'm holding on because of the popularity he's getting these days now. They're just going to build him up, kind of fast pace, listen to the fans and give him the title and see what he does with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see who they're going to give the title next to. AEW isn't just going to be giving a random title to someone we barely know for no reason, like another company. They're going to really stick out and see who they can give the title with. So I'll know I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's going to be a WWE guy, but that's just my gut feeling saying, I suppose.
Is it best for business to give it to MJF? No, we know there's shit going on, and some of us are starting to believe, right, he's actually fucked. He's actually crossed the line. Like up to maybe yesterday, we were all saying, yeah, it's all a work, but then there's more shit coming out now again. So like, it's really good. Like, it's like, wow. Like, imagine he actually won it. Like, imagine, I don't know, imagine they put him into a match.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs it. I think the worst thing they could do is put the title on him now. Absolute worst thing they could do is put that title on him now, because that will kill and piss all over any momentum that he has.
Yeah.
Because this is all natural heat. You know what I mean? He's a heat magnet. He's not even go away heat. It's like, it's actually turning into, like, for lack of a better term, baby face heat. That's what he has, you know what I mean? I just think it will ruin him. I keep the title off him for as long as possible. Keep this going. To put all this effort into making him out to be, fire me, you effing Mark. And then, like, okay, so we'll put the title on him. Sure, like, anybody can come up and say that. Then, oh, I want a title shot. You know, F you, you effing Mark. And, you know, so no, keep it away from him. Keep it away from him.
Well, a rumor I heard, not a rumor, it's just a theory somebody was talking about at the weekend, was that, you know, they kayfabe fire him and he signs with New Japan and wins he ends up in the Tanahashi match, and then he goes on to face Moxley or whoever wins the battle royal, whoever beats Moxley, or unless Moxley beats them, and then it beats Moxley or whoever it is for the AEW title and steals it and brings it to New Japan. But he has to be booked on AEW TV as he's AEW champion, but he's not actually under contract with AEW. He's actually under contract with New Japan. So it's, you know, playing into the whole, you know, Tony fired him, but he's actually still AEW champion until CM Punk comes back.
I love it.
Love that.
That's actually
that would
really
be a good
good
way to do it, like, because he stole the title and he could actually beat CM Punk when he comes back and be the champion and fucking do the, you know, leg it like CM Punk did and, you know, run off with the title.
Oh, I love it. That's a really good theory.
I'm not sure. I heard somebody talk. I don't know why I heard it on Twitter or on another podcast somewhere, or somebody mentioned something about it, and I thought, Jesus, that would be fucking epic.
Stop playing out, Booker G. You just came up with that there, and you're right. Just book it. Just
I love the credit to the person who was. I can't remember who said it.
Yeah, we'll have to try and track down the person that said it. But look, I'd love to take credit for something like that. And like, look, switching to.
Sorry, Joe. You can imagine MJF sending a title with a photo of the title belt actually in the fridge, CM Punk style.
Yeah.
Or plane ticket to Japan.
And like, we have to mention, look, obviously Cody, guys, we know Cody's injured, and we've seen the extent of the damage of a tore pectoral. Reminds me of Triple H that time. Like, you have to admire the man, first of all, for wrestling, and the match was over 20 minutes, right? Like, that's a serious
and they cut some parts out of it. He was supposed to do a moonsault and everything off the top or somewhere at some stage, so they cut that out of it, so it should have been longer. Yeah, it's like, first of all, sure, it's a massive hit. I think Vince is really, really pissed off about this one, isn't he? They big time. Sure, he was on the promotional poster. He was promoting Money in the Bank. Like, he was, you know, whether he was going to win the Money in the Bank, but he was pushing everything because Roman's not there. Roman's not going to be part of it. So he's the guy. Like, he was the guy they were dependent on. Like, they have, like Liz said, they have nobody else. Like, who have they got? Like, Drew McIntyre called out Roman for Clash of the Castle, which is 3 months away. You know, why call him out? Why call him out now when, you know, he's going to have some title matches between now and then. Yeah. You know, it's kind of giving it away, like, that, you know,
Drew's going to win it and cash in. Yeah.
Maybe win the Money in the Bank and cash in and Clash the Castle. That's the only way he gets the title. Or maybe Drew beats him and somebody else cashes in and wins the title.
Oh my God.
We see another cash in.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, we know they have nobody else. Like, they, as much as I love Seth Rollins, he lost 3 matches in a row to Cody, but he's that good. They could literally just turn and say, Cody or Seth, you're the guy now. Like, you know, hold the fort until Roman comes back. And you can trust Seth to do it. Yep. Even though he keeps losing, like, he's still one of those people. You can just put him in the title picture without even questioning it, and you know, everybody will, like, yep, that's good. Yeah, he's good for business, isn't he? He's an all-rounder. Like, he's like Triple H in a way. Just does what's good for business. And Lizzie, obviously, look, we've seen the extent of the injury. Look, Cody's been on a winning streak. He's been fucking awesome since he come.
do you fancy him to come back? Royal Rumble, you know, we're saying, you know what I mean? We're kind of timing it from around, aren't we? But do you think it's the case if he comes back at a Royal Rumble and bang, wins it?
He could. I mean, do you know what? Like, it depends. I mean, like the recovery time from this really, really depends. You know what I mean? Triple H was like 6 months. Like the immortal John Cena was 4 months. You know, so it's like it's really, really hard to judge. Now, if Cody pulled a John Cena and he was back in 4 months, I like to see him leading a team to Survivor Series if he made it. You know, I think that would be really, really cool. If they were to choose a leader to it, but if not, it would be fab to see him back in the Royal Rumble. But he'd have to win it.
Yeah,
that's the thing, which is fine if they do it right. Yeah. You know, and he doesn't end up, you know, eliminating whoever they have built up for the time he's been off. Like if they eliminate whoever their fall guy, I hate to say it, but if he ends up eliminating them, we're going to get like, you know, fucking Rey Mysterio heat when Daniel Bryan was knocked out. You know, that was just, my heart broke for poor Rey Mysterio. It wasn't his fault, but I could see that happening again if they do it wrong. Hopefully they'll book it right.
Definitely. Now, guys, we have to speak of Hell in a Cell, right? It was obviously last night. It was a decent pay-per-view. We had, I think it was 7 matches. Obviously there was a few things going on, but like obviously Cody defeated Seth Rollins, Terry defeated Ali, Matt Moss defeated Happy Corbin. We had the Judgment Day. They were actually awesome, beating AJ, Balor, Liv Morgan. Kevin Owens defeated
Elias.
I don't know what's going on.
Elias.
Bobby Lashley was pretty good. Beat Omos. I think that was a great win for Bobby. Bianca Belair, obviously, Asuka, Becky Lynch, that was a great victory as well. But guys, did any of you think that Cesaro or Bray Wyatt was going to turn up? Anyone believe it? No?
I think Bray tonight.
Yeah.
666, I think it's tonight.
I was actually thinking that Bray was going to show up when Cody wins, but because of, you know, Cody's injury, they probably have to scrap that idea. I was holding on hope, but tonight, Bray, enough tweets, Bray. We need to see Bray Wyatt coming back.
And Lizzie, why does Bray come back to WWE? What's happened for him to come back, in your opinion?
Do you know, that's a great question, but it's a tough one because clearly there's unfinished business, right? Because that just kind of came to a screeching halt, right? Which is madness. And the thing is that it's not a money issue. You know, there is no way that there was all sorts of offers thrown at him when he was released, for sure. You know, so money would not have been any kind of an object. And he's been making a movie as well in the background, like with his creative process. He's a get for anyone. You know, he could have walked in anywhere to a job. So what's pulling him back to WWE, I am not sure. There must be huge promises of something. But we were chatting about it the other day in the podcast about Judgment Day. But then there would have to be some kind of a power struggle, because when I think of Bray Wyatt, when I think of The Fiend, when I think of Firefly Funhouse, when I think of the Eater of Worlds, I see Bray Wyatt as the leader. So for him to pander to Edge, it's kind of a bit, unless there was an ulterior motive where he takes him out. But it's a great question. It has to be creative. There has to be something creatively drawing him back.
Yeah.
If he turns up tonight, because it's definitely not money.
And I think he's going to turn up. That's the thing. I think this is one of the ones I believe. I think, yeah, he's going to come back. He's not gone to Impact. We were very close to maybe an All Elite, you know, kind of appearance. We thought there was big rumors at a time and nothing happened. Joe, is tonight the night you reckon, look, this is the momentum. This seems to be something that is legit. He's teasing. He's on Twitter. Does he come back as The Fiend? Does he come back as Bray Wyatt? Does he come back as what?
I'm not sure. I know they're teasing and he changed his Twitter handle to Wyatt66 and maybe it's leading to the whole 666, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't trust WWE to book him properly. Like they wasted him, you know, a couple of times. Like, you know, and they don't know what to do with him. He's too smart for their creative team. Like, you know, he's way more creative than everybody in WWE. Like,
and he was best when he had the title.
Putting titles on him was just pointless.
When was the last time you did trust WWE when it comes to creative storylines?
Well,
are we talking back when we were teenagers? Or are we talking?
Well, in fairness, they, you know, I'm not not going to praise them too much, but they did book Cody right up until last night. Like they were teasing the rest of the wrestling world with Cody. Like, you know, people were taking notice of how they were booking him. Like they didn't bring him back and, you know, bury him because he fucked off and did his own thing. Like what they did that with a few people when they brought them back, that they buried them, like, and put other people over. But, you know, maybe Bray is, you know, I know Bray and Cody go way back. Like, you know, obviously they're sons of, you know, wrestlers. So, you know, they probably known each other since they were fucking running around the ring as toddlers. So maybe that's something that's enticing them back. Maybe the way they're booking, you know, things have changed backstage. You know, Stephanie's gone and a few other people are going out the door, and seems that, you know, Nick Khan is pushing people now to be crossover, you know, between Hollywood and WWE, and he wants to make stars, not just in the wrestling industry, but he wants to make them big stars outside of wrestling. So whenever they come back, that they can bring that audience with them. You know, It seems to be working, like with all these celebrities showing up. I know WrestleMania has always had celebrities, you know, but, you know, having celebrities, you know, at every, you know, all the big 4 pay-per-views will be something like, you know, a celebrity team at Survivor Series against the wrestlers, you know, something like that down the line, where maybe they're thinking long term they can bring more eyes onto the product and bring more money. Like, so definitely. It's hard to know.
Definitely. Matt Murphy, look, we've seen frantic, you know, rumors. Twitter is a thing that we all kind of vary towards at night, and we see what's trending. But look, Bray Wyatt, he's obviously trending. Cesaro trending. I know you're a big Cesaro fan. I know you want Cesaro to come back, win the championship. Yeah, it's what's your take? What's your take on Bray Wyatt? And do you think Cesaro is going to come back as well?
Right. Okay. I'm just going to say this now. Cesaro, don't go to WWE. I'm sorry, lads. I'm going to say this now, but I am just pissed that WWE booked Cesaro so poorly. They're literally just jumping around the place, being in tag teams, and then just when he's going back to mid-card, around tag team with Tyson Kidd, then Sheamus for 3 years, got back, nothing. So I'm sorry, I don't want Cesaro to go to WWE. They're going to fuck him up. If he does come back, great, but don't come crawling back to me when you're saying, you're right, Matt. You're right, Matt. They fucked it up. He probably won't, but in the back of my mind, I do. Anyway, about Bray Wyatt, if Bray Wyatt does come back to WWE, they need to know what they need to do with Bray Wyatt. Like, Bray Wyatt is a creative mind in wrestling. Like, so when they released him, it was kind of like a bad taste in all of our mouths. So I want to see Bray Wyatt come back, but at least sit down with creative and maybe pitch good ideas, pitch like storylines. It would have been unreal to see him an arrival with Cody Rhodes, but since that's not happening, maybe we might see him with Seth Rollins. Maybe Seth is just going to go insane knowing that he couldn't beat Cody Rhodes, and maybe The Fiend is going to come out, or Bray Wyatt's Funhouse come up, and it'll make not as like him come back tonight, but maybe like build him up that he's going to come to WWE soon by playing these random vignettes, getting into Seth Rollins' head, and that'll make Bray Wyatt's presence more scarier. Like, who are we going to deal with? Cult Bray Wyatt, Funhouse, or The Fiend? So that's Cesaro. I don't want him to go back to WWE because of reasons. Bray Wyatt, I would love to see him back to WWE, but with better creative control and him actually being used properly now. Like, one strike, but second strike, do something better with him.
Thought you said one shite. I was like, what? And then you went strike, and I was like, oh. I thought you said one shite. I was like, did I? Do you know what you're thinking? Like, definitely lost the fucking. Anyway, sorry, Matt. I was like, what?
Right.
That sounds like one shite one.
I love it. And just before we drift off from Head in the Cell, guys, are we surprised? I know I'm going to change on something. Are we surprised that 4th member did not join the Judgment Day?
Big time. They've just been teasing it on Twitter for fucking weeks. Like, and they talked about it on Raw a couple of weeks ago as well, that they, you know, they're teasing a 4th member. I'm not sure why they wouldn't introduce a 4th member to win that match last night. You know, give them the advantage. You know, why just, I know, per fucking AJ Styles got busted open pretty badly. Like, so I'm not sure whether he was supposed to take the pinfall or not, but Balor got fucking annihilated with that spear. So I'm not sure where where that trio goes from now, like, or what happens with that feud. Is it done and dusted, or do they want to just drag it out till SummerSlam or what?
But I think Raw tonight will tell a lot.
Yeah.
I think there might be one or two surprises at Raw tonight. One being
They have to do something. There was nothing happened, besides Cody's injury, like nothing happened.
Super predictable.
No titles changed.
Very predictable.
Pretty much predicted who was going to win the matches.
Yeah, I think. Look, for me, that pay-per-view wasn't a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6.
Like the triple threat match was awesome. Honestly, one of the best matches of the year. And Cody and Seth, you knew they're going to knock it out of the park, no matter how many times they have a match. So the fact that he was injured and he was still able to pull off a match like that was quality. Like, but the rest of the card, nothing happened to progress any storylines. So what happens with Mustafa Ali now? Is he gone again? Is he going to disappear for another year or what?
Yeah, but if you were a fan and you left Ireland, you traveled to the UK, you flew to America, and you went to Hell in a Cell, you'd be pretty pissed off.
Fuming.
Yeah.
You'd say to yourself, what a fucking waste of money. So like, if you remember back in the day, every pay-per-view was a fucking celebration. Every pay-per-view was
something happened.
It was huge. It was
fucking memorable happened. Like,
it's just so saturated now. It's too much.
Yeah, it's horrible. It sucks getting old. But look, guys, Stephanie McMahon. So Lizzie, I want your take on this, right? Stuff comes out today. Now, you know what I mean? Sources, I wouldn't say they're absolutely solid, right? But apparently Stephanie was forced out of WWE. The rumor has it that Vince has told her, she's no longer wanted, or look, your role is being changed, or look, whatever it is. But look, do you believe this? Do you think this rumor is true that Stephanie has been told, look, your time's up, you need to leave, or whatever it is?
To be honest, no. I just think it's another fucking leaky knicker situation, that somebody had to leave. Sorry. Somebody just left, sorry. Those phrases that stick with you. Anyway, leaky knickers, right? It's one of those, like, that a little bit comes out here, a little bit comes out there. This is just getting worse by the second. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of fucking. We'll throw this story out there. We throw the story that I always find that when booking is shit with WWE, that we have to release something from the boardroom to keep the interest alive. I kind of find it follows that path. Firstly, secondly, Stephanie's in her 40s now, right? On the far side of 40, right? And now he's getting sick of her. No, she's not pulling her weight. No, she's not bringing the money in. I'm sorry, no, it just sounds a little bit, you know what I mean? It's just so fucking sit in my basement and scratch my non-manscaped bag for an hour watching wrestling. That's exactly where it's coming from, this bullshit, she's terrible, she has to go. She's not terrible, she's in that position for fucking donkey's years. She's had a rough fucking year, she needs some time off. So, whether there's some kind of truth, she was forced out of her role, what all of a sudden? You know what I mean? Now, it's been coming for ages. Really, who are you talking to? Fucking nobody, leaky knickers. That's who you were talking to. It's just shite. I just hate this gossipy shit. There's no way. We all know that she's one of the fucking pillars of that fucking company. She is and has worked her bollocks off. There's no way that they now decided this week to force her out. Let's tell them that we forced her out. Stop. She's given her life to that company. A lot of people have, but she's royalty. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't get forced out of her position. No, sorry. Someone who works 20-hour days doesn't get forced out of their position. No, I don't believe it. No.
I was looking at the link. So the leak apparently is the Business Insider. Now, I haven't heard much about these guys, but they're bringing up quotes back from the Pat McAfee show back in March where,
Yeah. Talk about taking someone's words out of context. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I expect a lot from my family members. Fuck it, lads, Vince fired her. We can't believe it, Vince fired her. That's what I know. Shout out to Simon Miller. 2 + 2 = banana. 2 + 2 = potato. Right? Do you know what I mean? That's exactly what it is. It's like, how the fuck did you get that out of? I expect a lot from my family members. Leaky knickers. That's what you got it from. It's bollocks. Ring him out, love. Ring him out. It's terrible. It's fucking awful.
Yeah. Matt, were your knickers leaky on Sunday? On Sunday. When you did the marathon, were they that wet?
I mean, I think there was in the mid. I can't stand for for that now. But for this game physically, I can't.
Well done to Matt. Actually, everybody that half marathon on Sunday in Cork.
Yes,
13,
Matt.
what is that? 13.6 miles or something? Is it?
I think it was about 13.6. There was like so many times I saw like 20 miles, so many signs. I'm like, they said this back there. Yeah, so I ran the whole way through. I was like halfway through. I was like, you know what? This is not bad. I might sign up for the full marathon next year. Halfway through, I was like, no, I'm done. Legs on, whatnot. So, but cheers, lads. Cheers for all the support.
Well done.
Cheers.
Good man.
Anyway.
Good man. Good man. But yeah, Matt, look, what's your take on this whole Stephanie thing? Look, we the Business Insider have said they apparently know all the family quite well. And they've said, look, obviously Steph's been pushed out. Do you believe it or do you think it's utter bullshit?
Yeah, we so want to get into the family drama. I feel like at the moment it was like, whatever, we're going to keep hearing out like what's going to happen. As I think, I wouldn't say that they're going to air out why Steph got pushed out, maybe creative differences, maybe just like balancing work with family, or just Stephanie, like Liz has just had enough of it. She's like one of the pillars. So, or she was just not happy. I feel like whatever we're going to be hearing for the next week or so, it's going to just like settle it. That's just like kind of like our thoughts about this. But WWE with Stephanie McMahon, I don't know, maybe we might get by with it. I mean, to stay with WWE at the moment now, they might need a fucking miracle. I don't know what's going on at WWE headquarters at the moment, like pitching shitty ideas. But my make of it with Steph, I feel like I'm losing my thought at the moment. But I feel like with Steph gone now, I think it's just like she just had enough or something like that. Just like, yeah, I've been working here for so long, going off. So we're keeping ears out for any more news. I feel like that.
Maybe they're launching a McMahon's version of the Kardashians or something, and it's just drama for the show or some shit.
Oh, I'd watch it, wouldn't you? I'd be fucking glued to it, mate.
I love it. I love all things wrestling, even Young Rock and fucking.
Oh,
yeah, it's unreal, awesome.
It's cheesy, corny, but I loved it, and I love the Big Show on Netflix as well. As much as people say it was fucking shocking, I loved it. I loved it. I
watched one episode. I just couldn't get past the first episode.
I'm a pure chick flick kind of guy, and a fucking sitcom chick flick fucking kind of guy. So look, yeah.
I saw the trailer for the Big Show, and the first thought was like, "Wait, he's retired? When did that happen?" Thank you, Show.
He's just getting his paychecks every week. He's happy as Larry. But yeah, guys, there's been a lot of stuff. Obviously, look, injuries have headlined pretty much the last few days. We know CM Punk, Cody are injured. There's rumors Bray Wyatt's coming back. Cesaro, it's hot and cold. It was kind of hot there for the last couple of days. Now is it going to go cold again? I'm not sure. Impact Wrestling, it's been kind of quiet. You know what I mean? It's not really a lot happening in Impact at the moment. All Elite Wrestling for me, guys, has been really fucking awesome the last 3-4 weeks. MGF, take a bow, son. We don't know if it's legit, if it's real. We don't know what the fuck is going on now. Fully convinced, you know what I mean? It's definitely a bit of a work, but like, my God, it's got us all confused. It's got us all thinking. I'm all for MGF dominating the wrestling for the next couple of weeks. What Liz said was correct. Maybe he should not be champion. I agree 100%. Doesn't need the belt around him. Maybe go after the belt in another year or so. That's if he's still there. I have to mention quickly, guys, as well, Phoenix Wrestling is back in the Kino. Ooh. June 25th, the doors open at 6:30. The bell is at 7 p.m. And guys, mark my words when I say this, the lineup for Mr. Charlie Multiverse of Madness is fucking surreal. When I mean surreal, I mean like this show is up there with anything. Anything. And I mean the lineup is savage, from all of the UK, outside of Europe. They've really brought in some huge talent. I mean, some of the best indie talent in the world right now. And as you say, get your tickets ASAP. The Kino Cork, they haven't been there for a long time. They are back. Tickets are available at eventbrite.ie. June 25th, the Kino Cork. Mr. Charlie, as we know, what's in the box, Charlie. The guy is iconic. If you see him in town, stop him. Ask him for a picture. Ask him for an autograph. I'm sure he'll cut a promo.
Just don't ask him what's in the box.
No, ask him what's in the box. We all want to know what's in the box. Ask him.
The man is a national treasure across Cork City, Cork County. The rumor is there's going to be a statue in the Grand Parade of Mr. Charlie in the near future, guys. And he's going to be holding that spot.
Goodbye.
Put him outside Charlie's.
Right next to
Hey!
right next to the Echo Man.
Love it.
But anyway, Phoenix Wrestling, June 25th. It's warming up nicely for Scotty to Hottie. And people are anticipating the Queen. You know, like when we talk, first of all, Queen Lizzie, the quiz with Liz, Scotty to Hottie, and the quiz with Liz. Imagine that happening, guys. Imagine this happening.
Sorry.
So look, it's all in due course. But look, make sure you get down to the Kino Cork in June. Also, guys, don't forget yet again, the show is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Use the promo code WrestleSlam, 20% off and free delivery as well. From myself, Jerry, from Matt, from Jur, and from Liz, we thank you for tuning into our shows. We thank you for watching them on YouTube. We thank you for tuning in via audio on Spotify. Yet again, just check out WrestleSlam podcast on Spotify. You will find our recent episodes there. There's some more ones being put up as well. And Phil is going to start putting them all up. He said kind of day by day. So there's a couple of old ones going up. So if you want to listen to them, they are there. But we'll be back for a midweek show, and we'll be back as well early next week, guys. So thank you for tuning in. We will catch you soon.
Bye, guys.
Toodaloo.
Hey guys.